Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. I think that my thoughts on J.R. Smith are pretty well documented, and you can click on the link over here and check out our video on him from earlier this season. However, after shooting 10 for 22 from three-point land, people were kind of freaking out about how many threes he took. And at first glance, I said, you know what, he made 10. That's a good percentage no matter how many threes you take if you're going to make almost 50% of them. But then I went through the tape. I'm going to show you what he did on these three-point attempts, and I'll sum up at the end how I feel. The Knicks run horns with Smith as a big man on the elbow. It's a gorgeous set with the high post entry to Chandler, double pin down for Melo into a dribble pitch, all while Smith is getting a down screen from Amare on the weak side. Chalmers almost reads it perfectly, but it gets Smith a wide open corner three anyway. This starts with JR shooting a bad mid-range shot, but Chandler does his customary kick out and another quick trigger on a bad shot, but JR must already be feeling it. Having already hit 2 and doubling the score in Miami, it might not be the worst decision to shoot a transition 3, but no one for the Knicks is anywhere near a rebound. Yikes. Without question, J.R. Smith deserves to be rewarded for his incredible effort on that steal, and this was wide open. Miami does a nice job of swarming Melo in the post, forcing him to kick it out, and this first catch is the kind of bad shot JR would normally force. But he gets it moving and then nails the weak side fill off the screen and roll. Nice. It wasn't great TV coverage, but definitely not what the Knicks wanted, as they were posting up the smaller Battier with Melo. However, they did get the long rebound. Shane Battier seems to always overhelp even though Haslam was in perfect position, and this was an easy 3 right out of the playbook off of helping one pass away. LeBron screwed the pooch by not rotating down on this quick pick and roll. Ray Allen got confused and started to rotate himself, and the Knicks had their pick of which shot they wanted. J.R. Smith will not and should not pass this one up. Without a doubt, this set got botched in a lot of ways. One is that Melo was supposed to go to the outside to receive Chandler's pitch, and the Knicks do a good job though of getting an open shot from the corner for J.R. Smith, who just can't hit it. With a 5-on-4 advantage, JR should be sprinting to that line for an open 3. Instead, it's more like a jog, and Chalmers gets close enough to perhaps bother this shot. At this point, JR was 5 for 10, which is kinda hot, but he had missed his last 2, and this was some kind of bad heat check if you ask me. These are the threes you can't control for, since he had no choice but to shoot it at the buzzer. And here's another extremely clunky offensive possession for New York, the kind for which they've been famous all year. Since after the initial pick and roll, there is no movement and Felton ends up playing with his ball on top. This ends up forcing JR to take a ridiculous 3 as the shot clock expired, and he hit it. JR has never been one to back down from a challenge, and after LeBron nails a 3 in his face and also glares back at the Knicks bench, it was no surprise that he was going to come down and shoot it. Awful defense to not pick him up off the dribble, and he drained it. Having made 2 in a row and caught up in a personal duel with LeBron, this is one of those on the verge of garbage time why not threes, and he buries it in LeBron's face. Here's where it got problematic. You can't blame LeBron for getting caught up, his team was winning by double digits, but JR ends up shooting 5 threes in the last 7 minutes, and this one was just selfish. The Knicks cut it to 9, and again, JR is a very good 8 for 16 from behind the arc. I'm still not sure that justifies shooting a contested 27-footer, even if it did go in. Down by 9 again, perhaps the Knicks could have made something of this game if they took awesome shots down the stretch. But JR wouldn't let that happen, deciding on an awful one-on-one isolation with LeBron James of all people, which resulted in an ugly miss with his foot on the three-point line. And what's even more amazing was that his teammates were willing to pass him the ball again. Of course he's going to jack this one up. At this point, it's not clear why Woodson didn't just bench Smith. Even more startling was that they ran an out-of-bounds play clearly designed for him, treating Melo as if he was a no-skills role player screening for the star. Of course, being JR, he swishes this contested quick-release 3. At this point, the game is over, giving Smith a license to jack him up, which he did in impressive fashion, getting up 5 threes in the last 2 minutes alone, missing 4 of them, and not one of those could be considered even remotely a good shot. So there you have it, sports fans. I was really surprised to come all the way full circle and say to myself in the beginning, you know what, 10 for 22 is good, but by the end there, when you see the context of how I was shooting those and pretty much shooting his team out of the game with bad decisions, getting caught up in the one-on-one garbage with LeBron, I don't know. I don't think there's any hope for the guy. You know, he is who he is. He's going to play the way he plays, and he might even make some money doing it. But man, if I were a GM, I would not want him part of the team. I wouldn't want it because, as a coach at least, you want consistency. You want good decision making most of the time, and he does not have that, and it doesn't seem like he wants to learn it. So if I were the Knicks, I wouldn't have him around much anymore for next year if they want to build a different culture. But that's just me. Well, thanks for joining us. Make sure to follow us along on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube here and everything. And don't forget, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in?